you are a midwife as well. So I'd be interested to know how did finding Bitcoin, or has it, in fact, changed your thinking, one around parenting and two around your profession? Your profession is bringing new life into the world. How has that changed with Bitcoin?
Yesterday I read a phrase, we cannot bring more Bitcoin, but women can bring more Bitcoiners. So I think women, we as mothers, we can shape how Bitcoin is perceived in the future. We have to teach our children not only what is money, but how does it help to shape our society. And for me, it didn't change my way of parenting, but it freed my mind that I could finally be the mom that I wanted to be. And I kind of, now I'm able to get out of the system a little bit at least. And for example, our son is a little special, and he's in second grade, and he did have to after school daycare because we had to work so much. And he felt really, really bad. And like a few weeks ago, it escalated. And only with Bitcoin, we could make a radical decision to take him out of this daycare. And he instantly was good. He felt fine, he was more himself. And without Bitcoin, we could never have made this decision. So Bitcoin makes our life as parents a lot easier.
I was already a Bitcoiner when I got pregnant with my first daughter. And funny thing is that she has an account, the Bitcoin baby, because was one of the first, if not the first baby born from two Bitcoiners, me and Giacomo. So the account got some traction during those years. It was a reference for stuff about Bitcoin and kids. And so for me, the two things were strongly correlated since the beginning. And so I never thought about doing anything differently. But once I stopped it, I was like, oh my God, Bitcoin is making things so much easier for me. I can choose to have a wonderful pregnancy. I can choose to stay as much as I want after the birth. I can stop, and I can have a lot of free time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible. And really opening my eyes on how much privilege that I have been in this journey to stay with my kids, to experience everything I wanted with them. That otherwise, the majority of people don't have this life. And to me, it happens that I complain, but it's almost impossible to complain about that. And also for Giacomo, is very, very present as a father, as a dad. And this is amazing. Also the perspective of giving them a legacy, a strong legacy about the future, really makes everything in perspective. And when you live something like that, it's just like, I want to other people do it like that, other kids experience that, other family lives like that, living with this freedom of time, having so much choices. And it's, I don't know, it's just something you want to talk with everybody else around you. And so I'm strongly committed to that, but I try to show other families around how beautiful it is, but they are still in the system. They don't want to opt out. They are stressed. They want solution. You provide a solution, and they don't want to accept that. And it really hurts, not because of my ego. I don't care that much, because I see that they are not living as a family can live. as we can traveling, experiencing, having so much free time, and also, I mean, this is something incredible. We can dream about the future, they can dream about the future. So in next 2019, I wrote a letter for my daughter, it was published, and it was a fictional letter for her to read when she was older, about my age while writing that letter, and I was trying to describe her what we were building, what we are building during this year, and at the end I told that I don't care what she's doing with her life. The only thing I care that is she has the time, she has the passion and the freedom to do whatever she wants. And I don't want for her to be a Bitcoiner, but I want her to understand the history and what Bitcoiners before her trying to do to free other people to get the best condition and not take that for granted. And hopefully we will reach the point when this is going to be history and so trivial. Most of the family will have the freedom to travel, to experience everything, and to have to choose for themselves.
First of all, I'm sorry for being late. I had another interview there. These were like really nice answers, but I'm not really sure about the question. I'm sorry.
Yes. Actually, why don't you introduce yourself quickly, and so people know who you are and what you're doing in the Bitcoin space, number of kids you have, and get people up to speed, and then we'll just carry on with the discussion. And no problem for being late.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jacob. Everybody knows me as Kicom here in Czech Republic. I'm a YouTuber and a Bitcoin promoter, as there on the slide. I have two kids, twins, boy and girl. So it was like lottery shot for us. And for me, like Bitcoin really changed the view on everything. Because when I started with Bitcoin in 2017, when I really discovered it, because I heard about it in 2013, 14, you know the stories of all the people. But in 2017, I really discovered what is it, how it works. But I saw all these people and I was like, are these people anti-government, anti-government, anti-state? How does this really work? But after some time, it really opens your eyes. And it also opens your eyes when you consider how you'll be raising your kids. So, yeah, this really changed everything. It changed my mind about state education. And I'm not really sure how to proceed from now on because they're still young. They are 4-year-olds. We're still waiting for the school. And I'm not really sure if the state school is the best way to go.
Oh. You're in my wheelhouse right now. For those that don't know, I have 4 kids. We world schooled our kids for 3 years. One was 1 and 2 here at the moment. And that meant we took them out of the school system and traveled with them long term for almost 3 years, country to country. We were home shopping out there around the world. And it was during that time that I owned my own time that I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole as well. So I went down like separating education from state and separating money from state at the same time. They were sleepless nights. Let me assure you. But I would love to throw this question here to the panel now about what have been your thoughts about education. You touched on it briefly there. I know the situation in Germany is difficult because it's illegal. I'm not exactly sure now between Italy and Switzerland. Right, okay, we'll get to that. And then we'll come back to you and think about your thoughts around how to bring up your kid and educate them. Your kids, we have twins as well, quite well. And then I think what I'll do is read you the abstract, the philosophy, the white paper, if you will, of the General Education Board, which was set up in 1902. So let's have some thoughts on state education first, and then I'll read that out in a second.
It's a very tough question because and it's very present in our home or at the moment because our first daughter, she is a 6, so she's going to start elementary school soon, and we are moving from Italy to Switzerland in a month. So we have to make so many choices, and unfortunately, for many things, Switzerland is way better than Italy. But for education, Italy is way better because school is not compulsory, and so you can. I mean, it's a different situation. You have to enroll kids to school, but you have so much freedom. Nobody does it, nobody do homeschooling, but it's possible. While in Switzerland, it's compulsory, which means that the state also own your own calendar with the kids. So you have to ask permission to take the kids only for a small vacation for everything. So it was very tough. We decided to move to Switzerland the same because of our job and everything. And we are trying to do the best. We consider it also homeschooling, but I think we found a good compromise. We found a good school very close to us. In Switzerland, the quality of the school is very high. They go to school half of the time. In comparison to Italy, they didn't have the homework. So it's compulsory with the rules, but actually it's very difficult to be so indoctrinated just like in Italy, because in Italy you spend a lot of time in school. And so in the end, I think it's a good compromise for us. We considered homeschooling, and we may be considering the future. At the moment, I think that it's the best, it's the goal, but we are not ready to do that. I want to be completely honest. I'm more normie than I thought on that. I'm not that courageous and brave on doing that, but we were trying to do the best for us as a parents and also the best for the kids. And we have found a sweet spot, I think, but we are ready to change it if we don't like it. So I think it's also two things are important in that. To be very dynamic in changing your mind, assessing the situation. Also, if you try homeschool and doesn't work for you or the situation change. And also it's very important to understand that that's the goal, but maybe your own situation at the moment is different and there's nothing wrong. You're trying to do the best for your family the same, and there are other occasions you can educate your kids. For example, I've been a music teacher for many years. I can do that. I still do that from time to time. I do that with my kids, and there are other topics in which we educate our kids along with the school. They are not the only educators. I always monitor everything they are doing. If they're doing something wrong, I'm still here. I don't want to, give them too much power. So you will find your good compromise, I guess. Or many families don't feel guilty if you are not reached the golden point of education. Okay, we are human after all, and we are trying to do our best.
For a very, very long time, I thought I would be fine with state education. But as it happens, our son doesn't fit into the system. And we recognized this during kindergarten time, and I had to make a radical decision to take him out of the normal kindergarten, take a loan, and bring him to a private kindergarten. And now again, we had to take him out of the daycare, of the school, to give him the possibility to be at home. He's really smart. I think I've probably never met a person as smart as him. But it happens that social contacts are a little bit difficult for him. So what happens is he goes to school, to state school, has his friendships there, has his social contacts, and then he comes home and decides for himself what he wants to learn, what he wants to listen to. And we at the moment cannot decide to move to another country because we have our fiat shop still, but maybe in the future it will be possible for us. And I hope that, inclusion is very, very important, and everybody talks about We have to include everybody into the system. Everybody should be able to take part. But to be honest, I think inclusion, the word means to enclose. You take the freedom away, kind of. And I don't want him to have the same chances as everybody else. I want him to have the chance to make the best out of his life. And I don't care if he's a Bitcoiner. I want him to be able to live his life. And my daughter is well, by the way. But he showed us that it's not always possible to fit in the system. And maybe we Bitcoiners, we don't fit in the system anyways.
Me, I guess the system in Czech Republic is not that bad. I think it got better in the last years. The biggest issue for me in the state schools is it's just not really effective. I mean, we got kids in kindergarten, everything is okay, and Czech Republic is pretty open about the alternatives like homeschooling. So we can really do that, but I'm not sure if I can do that with my wife because we're kind of busy, and I'm not sure if we can really like homeschool our kids. So what I'm really looking forward is like more of the privatization of the school system, which is going pretty good right now. There are some alternatives, even in our like small cities which I live. I live in Prostějov, which you probably haven't heard of. It's a small city in Moravia, but there are like new options that you can choose, like this private school, Montessori schools, some private schools for like gifted children, and I'm just not sure if my children are that gifted. We will see. But to be honest, it's getting better. And the problem for me, or the options, what I will need to take responsibility for, if I have the time to really focus everything on the kids or to focus on my career. And obviously, I would always choose the kids, but we also need to eat something. So yeah, these are the hard choices for me and my wife. But I'm a positive person, and I still think that there's a huge feedback coming from people right now, not only Bitcoiners but everybody, to change this a little bit. And you can see that even in the public schools, it's getting better. It's not ideal, but nothing is really ideal. But yeah, I'm looking forward for the opportunities and options that my children will have. And like what really changed this view is Bitcoin, which I'm really grateful for. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And having Bitcoin as a backstop, as an option, gives you that optionality, gives you that freedom. It helps you think through more problems, more pragmatically, because you're not just a slave to that system. And I'm just going to read here, as I said, as a prelude here, in 1902, the General Education Board was set up in the United States, and they took a very close look. And, they built their education system on the shoulders of giants: France, Britain, Prussia. They came across and they studied those systems, and they went back and they figured out this is what we need to do to shape our society. And in 1902, well, who's heard of the Jekyll Island meeting in 1910? The secret financiers that all coalesced together in 1910 to put forward the idea of the Federal Reserve. They were just following the playbook that they had set out for the General Education Board, which they formed in 1902, in a secret location, in a secret meeting. And this was the philosophy that they came up with, these megaminds. In our dream, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hand. Thus, sentence number 1 formed the philosophy, the abstract, if you will, of the General Education Board set up in 1902. It goes on. The present educational conventions fade from their minds, and unhampered by tradition, we work our own good will upon a grateful and responsive rural folk. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers, or men of learning, or men of science. We have not to raise up from among them authors, editors, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, musicians, nor lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, of whom we have an ample supply. The task we set before ourselves is very simple, as well as a very beautiful one. To train these people as we find them to a perfectly ideal life, just where they are, so we will organize our children into a little community and teach them to do in a perfect way the things their fathers and mothers are doing in an imperfect way, in the homes, in the shops, and on the farm. They're not even hiding. They said the quiet part out loud in the philosophy, and you can go to the General Education Board website and read that for yourself. This comes from the Country School of Tomorrow. It's one of their main papers. Any guesses as to who funded the General Education Board in 1902 with $1 million? John D. Rockefeller. So this is the system that has been set up. And when you read that, and when you understand it, and when you look into it, and you think and you ask yourself why, and it's only the reason I started looking into it was because I had to. I'd taken my kids out of school, I'd found the Bitcoin, and I was starting to question everything, and this was one of the main areas which I questioned. It's a really shocking realization. But I am very optimistic, I'm very bullish on Bitcoiners and Bitcoin families and young families especially, because this education, it's all out there, it can be read, and I know Bitcoiners will find it. And already, they're thinking differently, they're thinking about families differently. Like, the education system is an attack on the family. It's a 51% attack on the family, for real. And I know you guys who are in the audience here, who haven't had kids yet, will think differently about that, and that's what these discussions are all about. So, I don't know where to lead off now with another question. But, yeah, you do, yeah?
Actually, it's about your kids. I was really surprised meeting your kids the first time because they were interacting in a completely different way, in which I experienced with other kids. They were asking questions, they were free in asking questions, and putting the point of view. They feel so safe and secure about themselves and curious about asking questions. And it was almost the first time to me seeing that. But actually kids are just like that when they are small and they grow up and they get used to obey, to not question, to not pose any attitude. I mean, the problem with school most of the time is that they are getting better and better at being obedient, which sounds like great for parents, but in the end it's very dangerous because you as a parent and they don't even notice how dangerous this thing is because it's just normal. All the kids are just like that, and if somebody raises the hand and says something different, you have to shut up. You are disturbing. You are creating something that is not in the rule. And actually also that reminds me of Gramsci, an Italian politician that explicitly say that the schools are one of the way in which they create new voters. They are created, it's one of the best way to create a voter and citizenship like that. Everything is so explicit. We were just in front of us, so I think it's really important, even if you are choosing something different, that you are aware that there is this agenda and you want to check. I also think it's plenty of people that are great teachers, they have good motivation, and plenty of kids are being answered by these people, but still these people are in the system, and the system has its own problems. So it's the objection is usually, oh my God, my kids are going to school, they are getting better. But the problem is that what we were reading before, you as a parent are imperfect. We are doing the best for your kids, and your kids are better with us. And that's so serious as a problem. And that's why I'm scared of now going to Switzerland, and they are just like, your kids are our property. You should ask us the permit to travel with your kids, which is crazy to me. Those are my kids, not your property. If I want to travel with my kids, why am I supposed to ask you about my kids? It's crazy, right? But if you are born in a system like that, if you are raised in a system like that, it's just normal.
I think a big problem that's not seen within the system of education is that the obligation to send your kid to a school or a daycare, and even if it's not obligatory like in the way we have it in Germany, but of financial reasons that you have to work and that you have to give your child away so you can work, it leads to alienation within families. You stop talking to your children because you don't have the time or energy to listen to them and to really value their needs of the world. And I think if we don't listen to the children, we cannot be a better society because children are the future.
Again, I wouldn't say that there is such a huge problem here in Czech Republic because the schools and everything is pretty much open. If you want to take your kids to like vacation or just take them, you just of course you need to like fill some paperwork, but they're mostly fine with that, and you just go. So I consider them to be like a little bit progressive, maybe. I guess. I hope. I still don't have this experience because we are still in kindergarten, but we've been for a month in Malaysia, a month for Thailand. There was no problem just to fill out some form and you're free to go. But I'm not so sure about the elementary school, so we will see. But what I will teach my children, or what Bitcoin told me, is that you are just sovereign individual, and you need to take responsibility for you, for yourself, for your family, and this is something that I will try to pass on my children.
I don't forget, to your point, there's a big international community of homeschoolers here in Prague.
Yes.
From Sweden especially. I've met them, they're Bitcoiners as well, it's great. So it's very much unlike Germany, where it's very strict, in Sweden, where it's so you're definitely in a better place. I would also like to switch it up a little bit. I think, now to be an inspiring Bitcoin parent, there are also actually good old-fashioned fiat sayings that maybe they were gold standard sayings that one of them I think that resonates with me and resonates with a lot of the Bitcoiners that I meet is that actions speak louder than words. And if you just keep acting in a moral way, in an ethical way, in a truthful way, and something as basic as having family dinners together, which again get completely separated, especially with teenagers if they've got homework and they're coming back from school, and it's that just gets completely broken apart. What I see with Bitcoin families is the opposite. I see people, showing action speaking louder than words, and we bring together and we have big family dinners. So I think there's probably something there. And you being Italian, it's okay. It's time for you to riff on that.
It's important what you are saying, that there's school, but there is education, continued education in everything we do as parents, everything we do as a family. And so those are the most important moments. If you think about it, they are probably going to remember more the dinner together, the moments together, the travel together, more than all the time they spent at school or doing other things with random people. And so that's really important. And of course, as an Italian for us, having and staying together during lunch, if possible, but of course during dinner, it's so important. It's so important that for us, we are moving to Switzerland and we didn't consider other countries just like Dubai or El Salvador because we want to come back to our family on Sunday because we are lucky we still have our family of origins and we want our kids also to grow with the grandparents. And so the extended family is such an important value. And I didn't grow up with my grandparents because my parents had me very late. My mother was 46 when she had me, so I didn't get this experience, but I want my kids to have this. I want that also the extended family as a part of education, and an education that is different from me because I'm imperfect in a good way. We are imperfect as a parent, but as an extended family, there are so many values that are important that I will make my kids, and so that's an important decision we took as a family to stay closer to our extended families. It's a privilege. It's not for everybody, but it was really important for us.
You talked about dinners in the evening with the family, and it's something really value that we have this time together, and all the friends are welcome always. Our son almost every day brings somebody over, and I think we have that too less in our society. Of always running after money and always being stressed. We need to value this more.
You mentioned the option to move you and your family to new countries, and I know a lot of Lithuanians that are like managing these stays or citizenships in Paraguay or Panama, Dubai, whatever. And I mean, it's one of the options, but it was not not for everybody. I mean, it depends on you and how do you feel about this. And for me, I have just these deep roots in Czech Republic, in my home country. I just have it, and I'm kind of jealous about people that they don't have it. They just move all the time. But I have these strong feelings about staying in Czech Republic. I know the community, know the people. Also in our city, it is a small city. It's 50,000 people. But we have grandparents there. So we want to stay connected, and I can't really imagine moving my family to Paraguay or some other place. I've been to Asunción, and it's not really a place where I would like to stay with my family, to be honest. I mean, there are maybe some like opportunities and everything, but I just don't feel at home there. And so yeah, this is like highly individual.
We were talking on the panel earlier about Bitcoin couples and bringing your significant other to an event or to a meetup to help them on their journey and meet other people. I would encourage everybody to bring their kids. April 9, one is here, and I've seen such an incredible development in their understanding of what it is that I've seen and what Bitcoin is. But everyone's got a different avenues, everyone's got a different thing to be interested in. Caitlin is more perhaps interested in like the human rights angle, she likes learning about that kind of thing. And is going to go and study that in further depth, and was actually going to go and intern for the Human Rights Foundation. So these that didn't work out. Thank you for the visas problem in America. But next year we hope. But these are the kind of opportunities that open up when you bring your partners and your families. And I know you guys, I've seen you with the kids sometimes at certain events. I just said, before I pass the mic around, is there any burning question from the audience that anybody might have? It's all good. Yes, we have one. Yep. Yes, thank you.
Are like the little kids even interested in this topic, like in Bitcoin, from themselves in your experience? And if yes, how do you approach? And if not, are you trying to encourage them then, or somehow convince them that they should be?
So our son is interested a lot. I mean, it's a topic almost every day during dinner time. And we talked as well about privacy. And just a few days earlier, he took off a friend's smartwatch, and he opened the settings and read the privacy settings to him. And it was really interesting because he develops his own thoughts and his own values, and he teaches his friends as already at this young age. Yes, he's 8 years, and he picks up on what he is interested in, asks back, and he teaches his friends already. So it's really, really great.
Maybe I can just add up to that. Today, sitting I'm the father of this son who has just been talking about. And the thing is, it's the same with Bitcoin as well and parenting. It's not about indoctrinating your children to find these freedoms. It's to give them the chance to find it themselves. And the point is, that's something I want to pick up what you guys talked before about the education system. I used to work as a preschool teacher before. And I remember one scene where I walked out of the building and there was one of the kids jumping up and down in the mother's car. And she was trying to get him to sit down to talk to her mother. And I didn't look because I knew the moment he sees Martin makes eye contact with me, he knows that I'm taking over the situation. Accidentally it happened and I just looked at him and I went like, Ben, sit down. And he just sit down, buckled himself up. And the mother came to me, she's like, Patrick, can you please move in with us? Yeah? And I said, like, look, the difference is I come here, I have slept well. I come here at 8 o'clock in the morning and I pass your kid children back to you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And for me, basically, this was I considered doing this, working at a preschool for 4 years. This was my training to become a parent. This was a deliberate decision that I made to check out if I self-qualified for fatherhood. And the point that I'm trying to make here is, it's about, he did not listen to me, this child, because I was pushing him into obedience in some way, because I was being a person he has built a relationship with. And why could I build a relationship with him? Because I had 8 hours of time with him to do so. And this relationship is what encourages my son to explore these thoughts now. And I wish, honestly, I had the time for my own children that I had for the children of people back then. I don't, because I have to work. But this is the one thing that I really wish for Bitcoin to change in families, that people have more choice and more freedom to do so, because with the money that keeps expanding and inflating the purchasing power away for everybody, this is something people have to put the kids in daycare now. They have to put them in extracurricular activities so they pass on to the next grade to fulfill the needs that they need to fulfill, whatever the system asks them to do, to get a degree at the end that they don't even know what to do with. What we need is children to have relationships with their family and everyone around them to explore their own freedom of thought in each and every way and find out what they want to do. And this to me is the greatest thing in my life, to be, even if it's not the amount of time that I wish it were, but this to me, that is parenting.
Obviously I have like 2 small children, 4-year-olds, twins, so they're not really asking about Bitcoin itself. They know it's some kind of my job. They always see this little holder by Lena's iPad, so they're like, yeah, our dad is doing this Bitcoin thing. But they ask about money sometimes, about, I remember me asking my mom and dad, can we buy this? No, we don't have money for that. Why? Why don't we have more money? Where does that money come from? So I didn't have all these questions, and my parents didn't really have the answers, I guess, because I actually found out when I found Bitcoin, which was like really much later than my kids. So when they ask me about some money question, I actually know the answers. But you can like approach it like, well, buddy, they just bring it out of thin air. This is not how you teach them about it. But the great thing is, I know how these things work because I know Bitcoin. So you obviously know something about money. So when they ask me about something like that, I can think about it and really give them some reasonable answer. So that's another thing that Bitcoin taught me.
Yeah, so the question was, are your kids paying attention to Bitcoin and asking questions?
So I think in this regard we are kind of failing in a way because our daughter thinks we are psychopaths. And the other day she asked us if Bitcoin is illegal. So I guess we are not doing a great job, but at the same time, she's grown up with Bitcoin. So I think that the point is that for her it's just trivial, normal, and action speaks louder. So we have been in El Salvador for 2 months this autumn, so she got to pay with Lightning all the time. We tried to show her. She wanted some earrings, she paid with Lightning. She wanted a hot dog, she paid with Lightning. So for her, Bitcoin is just a reality. She's trying to adjust to the fact that it's not a reality for all the people around us. But it's all the Bitcoin influence is showing another way. For example, at the school, the nickname from the teachers to our daughter is the philosopher. And to me, this is something beautiful. She is questioning, she is thinking, she is very deep. So she's just like questioning even Bitcoin and even their own parents. So in a way, I feel that we are not failing in this phase, but we can do better for sure. It's not an easy task. She's surrounded by books, she's surrounded by plushes, she's surrounded by everything about Bitcoin. Even when I was pregnant, I was going to Bitcoin conferences and meeting people all the time. And still it's so tough. And we are trying to figure out everything. And I'm talking about her because the other one is only 2. And so there is a margin to get better for him, and he's completely different. So it's going to be a different experience too. He's starting to speak, and I think Bitcoin was between the first 20 words. It really surprised us, just like the point that Bitcoin is saying Bitcoin, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is just normal to him. But guys, this is really tough.
And I would say, I know I've adopted the approach of annoying the hell out of my kids at the dinner table. When I let the dinner table conversation, go where it needs to go, and then just every now and then, well, Bitcoin fixes this. Wait for them to get triggered over something, but you better be able to explain how it does fix this. And then you can go through the motions there. But my kids are older now, so 18, 16, and 2 13-year-olds. So we can have really very deep discussions about it and about the world problems and what you see and what's being fed into the mainstream media. You can debunk all of that stuff going through Austrian economics and Bitcoin and stuff like that. So that's how I think. I saw your hand go up as well, Lisa. Yeah.
I actually have 2 boys, 9 and 10 years old, and one girl which is 1 year old. And I realized that the easiest way how to onboard kids to Bitcoin is to let them save in Bitcoin. My older boys are saving in Bitcoin since 2020, so you can imagine that the numbers go up. Technology works for them quite nicely, and big numbers they came with a lot of questions. How does it happen and what's the issue? And I was surprised that actually now they are pretty much able to understand what inflation is. I don't know many 10 years old that can even distinguish between price inflation and monetary inflation. And that's where we get with all those questions after few sats on their accounts. It's pretty easy. And I'm pretty grateful for this panel because in 2 months we are moving from Slovakia to Spain, taking our kids out of this traditional school system and putting them to school that we think that it will suit them best. So, it's all things to Bitcoin, of course. So Bitcoin fixes this.
Well, this reminds me of a friend of ours, a Bitcoiner, of course. He has 3 sons and he's paying a little amount of for each of the son, and he gets the kids to choose in Bitcoin or Euro, and two of them chose Euro, one chose Bitcoin, and of course the one who chose Bitcoin at the beginning was losing, now is the rich one, and now everybody else is just like convergent to Bitcoin. They learn very fast in this way, so it's very nice. You can, even if you have more kids, you can even put them in competition between each other. Consider that it's really interesting as an experiment, really working, because immediately they understood that Bitcoin was way better.
I had really the same experience, because the older one is not really into long time preference, and he's not saving harshly as the younger one, and he can now see the difference really hard.
This is actually something that people teach us even like adults, because we kind of like forget that saving is good, because in fiat money it's not really working. So you have all these podcasts and videos about investing, where to put your money, but you actually teach people something different in schools. They teach them to save money, but we know that it doesn't work. So Bitcoin brings you the opportunity to save again, which sounds like really normal, but it's not normal in these days, because we all know how inflation works. But I'm not sure if I knew how inflation worked like when I was like 20 or 30 years old. I'm almost 40. I need to learn the hard way, and because of Bitcoin, I realized.
Absolutely. Make savings great again. We got time for one question. Okay, yeah, you got it. Thank you, Neil.
My English not so good, so I maybe have to help from Kicom, because there is must have financial products of kids when it's born. It's kind of started disposing.
Some kind of like building savings. I don't know if there's some word in English. You just save to build something, the house or reconstruction. So
Yeah, and state donation, some kind of measure. And also that there is senior savings. Especially, starting.
Like a pension funds or savings for the pension.
Yeah. So these two are must have that financial products when the child is born, when you have birth ID. And I have one kid, almost 5 years old, and also I have these two must-have products, and also I give some same amount of money. I put it in a Bitcoin, and now I'm comparing it to this financial products, must-have financial products, and now you see it's about plus 4 times than classical financial products.
Yeah, that's true. This is something that was really like popular in Czech Republic. Everybody had this building savings and the pension fund savings, but I think everybody slowly realizes that this just doesn't work, and that more and more people are coming to just some basic investments in S&P or something like that, and many of them are coming to Bitcoin, which is a good thing, right?
100%. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for being here and sticking around, and a big round of applause for the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you.